I'm 24. Sorry, that's a mom thing. Talk about her first. I'm 24. My baby is 17 months. Her name is Isabella.
Hi, my name is Brielle. I'm 23. My baby is 4 months, but she will be 5 months in April. Her name is Zael. And yeah, did I forget something?
No.
Oh, okay.
My name is Joy Marie. I have two twin daughters that are 2.5 years old, and I am expecting a baby boy.
How many months are you?
I'm 4.5 months.
Okay.
So the day I found out I was pregnant, y'all, I thought it was like, I was sure the pregnancy test was false. Like, I did not think it was possible. Like I went to, so I knew my period really wasn't that late. I just had this weird feeling like, okay, let me just go and buy a test. Because I had did it the month before. And I'm like, I'll go to Dollar Tree, get a little test. It's going to be negative, and then I'm going to keep going, doing what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally made it around Dollar Tree. And I'm talking to the lady. She's like, well, I hope it's what you're wanting. I'm like, yeah. I hope it's negative. But she's just like, I'm like, ma'am, just can you read me outside? I'm trying to go. So I took the test. I set it down. Did what I had to do. I picked it up. It said positive. I just set it right back down. Because I'm like, it's no way that I'm pregnant. So literally, I went and bought some more tests. Because I'm literally thinking it's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is fake. So I took more tests. The next day, it was clear blue. The expensive pregnancy.
Yeah.
I came a little different. And they were still positive. So it was kind of weird because I ain't gonna say I was trapped, but I was trapped. Because to my understanding, I'm thinking like he was pulling out.
Oh, he never told you
He
that?
never
like,
told
maybe
me.
You need a plan B.
Yes, he never told me because I would ask every time like, do I need a plan B or am I good? And my job, I was in my party girl area, so I was like going out drinking, and I was calling him afterwards like, come over, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I went wrong.
Yeah.
Because it was one of them drunk nights. Yeah, I remember it. Like, I got pregnant on Valentine's Day.
Mm-mm.
I swear. And he wasn't even my Valentine. Like, I had...
Shut up.
I went out with my girls. Like, we had a girls' night. We was on some, we don't want no man type stuff, whatever. We literally could have had Valentine's. We was like, no, we just gonna hang out with each other. But I'm still that friend. I ended up calling him afterwards.
You had to pull up, huh?
Pulling up didn't get you pulled out of.
Man.
So literally, I think like he didn't believe it because this is like my baby daddy is the first person I ever had sex with, and like when I was 15. And like back when we was younger, like we would be way more reckless than now. Like so we would be having unprotected sex, never got pregnant when we was younger. So this time, I think we was both like, are you sure? Like, I think we was in denial because it had been all these years. Like, we met when we was 15. Now, we 22, 23. And now I'm finally pregnant. Like, I think we both was just in shock. But, I mean, he was happy.
Mm-hmm.
He was happier than me. I was not happy. I ain't gonna lie. I was not happy. It took me a while to be happy about it. But I'll say, the first day, I was not happy. Probably I wasn't happy for a long time. So he was happy though, but I was still not really feeling emotionally. Like, yay.
Mm-hmm.
I was still like, no.
Did you ever think like, maybe I don't want to do this, or you knew that you were having a baby?
I knew I was having it, but I was not happy still, like, because I just knew I didn't want to get no abortion. Like, I knew I didn't want to get no abortion, but I still was not happy, and I was trying so hard to be happy, but it was hard for me to accept, like, oh my gosh, I finally feel like when I got pregnant, I thought I was like in my prime, like I'm going out.
Right.
I don't even go out like that.
Yeah.
And it's the year the Mingles going to the Super Bowl, so I'm just living my life.
So yeah, I kind of knew I was pregnant because we was on quarantine. My boyfriend had COVID. And yeah, so one day I was just feeling really emotional, and I kept thinking like, okay, you about to, come on, but it never happened. So I called my friend. I'm like, boo, I need a pregnancy test. I was at work in the thick of it, and she brought it, and it was positive, and I was like, okay, we rocking out. And I just went home and told him, and he was just like, all right, and that was that.
Okay, so y'all was with it. Like,
We
it
was
was
with it.
no second guessing.
It was no questions at that point because it was just like
Y'all knew, huh?
and it was like, well, finally. I mean, not finally. No, wait. No, we were not trying to do that, but it was more so like,
Get on now.
I mean, you just be like, I'm surprised it didn't happen yet.
Sooner.
Yeah. So then when it did happen, you like, oh, okay, cool.
Cause were y'all, I don't know if this is too much, but were y'all like using protection or were y'all
Never.
just do? Oh, so that's why he said finally.
Right. So it was just like, okay, cool.
Ooh, I got 2 times. Jeez. Ooh, okay. So the first time I found out that I was pregnant, I was terrified. I ain't gonna lie. I was terrified. I was terrified to tell anybody. I was terrified. I was terrified. And when it came to like actually,
why were you terrified?
well, because I just was like, people gonna judge me. Like, and I'm really big on like my character being tempered with. And I've always been one to like really stand up for myself. And I had knew then, like, okay, this is gonna be a topic.
Right.
Like, this is gonna give people in my family something to talk about.
That's real.
Like, oh, excuse me. And I had knew, like, you know, if I don't go to bat for myself, nobody will. Like, so I chose then to go ahead and stand up for myself. I did hide my pregnancy for the first 16 weeks. Because I found out that I was pregnant with twins, and the twin pregnancy that I had was such a high risk from the jump. Mm-hmm. They were already telling me, you know, it's a 50-50 chance. You know, either you could miscarry, something could happen, and the Lord just kept my pregnancy the whole time. My daughters came here, they were blessed, and they've been good since.
That's a blessing.
But the second time that I found out that I was pregnant, I actually was at the doctor. I thought that I had a UTI. And and they came back and was like, well, congratulations.
No.
We ran your pee and you're pregnant. So now we need to take some blood and figure out how far along you are. And I was like, okay. So they came back and was like, you're about 8 weeks. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute, 8 weeks? Wait, what you mean? Like, so you mean to tell me, you know, I missed 2 periods? Not 1, but 2? And it didn't even feel that way because apparently I had like some type of implantation bleeding.
Yeah.
Already were bleeding and you thought that it was your period.
Yes, it was actually the egg fertilizing in my uterus.
So was it like, it was like period?
It was like 3 days, 3-4 days.
Yeah. And
which is pretty normal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, okay, what do I do? I already got these twins at home and they running me bonkers. Like, what am I gonna do? So when I got home, we got like a couch bed at home. So I kind of stayed in the living room on a couch bed. And he was like, what you doing in there? And I was like, oh, nothing, watching TV, trying to play it off. And then out of nowhere, I just started getting like real nauseous. Like my body just settled into the whole being pregnant thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to say something because he gonna think something's up. So I went and I sat all 3 pregnancy tests on top of his game. He was in the bathroom, so I snuck
on the game.
Hey, listen. And I put the PlayStation controller right next to it because he was playing the game. He went back there and he just sent me mass purple and blue hearts with the smiley faces. And I was like, what's that about? And he was like, you pregnant. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, you happy? And I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of nervous. Then I just was like, oh my God, like, I was just in like shock. I think my body was just in shock. Like, okay, here it is, you about to go through this again. Geesh.
So before having y'all babies, what was your biggest fear about motherhood?
People judging me how I would be as a mother.
I feel like my biggest fear was to not have a right dad for my kid, because I feel like that's the main thing that affected me growing up. So I wanted to plan my pregnancy, like, and I didn't get the chance. Like, it was just, it happened. So I think that was my biggest fear. Like, I need my daughter to have a good dad, because I feel like daughters need their dads.
That is the absolute truth.
They need their dads.
That's
like,
a fact.
and they love their dads. Like, I can sit there, breastfeed my baby, be stressed out, up with her all night. She see her dad, she got the biggest smile on her face. I'm like, they just have it easy. But that was my biggest fear, not picking the right dad, not haven't met family.
How are you feeling so far now that you?
I don't know if I ain't gonna say I failed, but it's not the family that I would have wanted.
You didn't fail, so don't say that.
Yeah, I don't think I failed, but it's not what I pictured. You know, thinking back, like, oh, I'm gonna have this type of family. We're gonna be like this, and it's not like that.
Yeah, because there's no parent book to parenthood.
Yeah.
It's not, and it's a lot of stuff you know going in as a mother, and then it's a lot of things that you really don't know. And I think my other biggest thing was failing my children.
Yeah.
Like not being the best mom for them. And I think that's what kind of bothered me because I was so young. I was 19. So I think that kind of bothered me. Like even though I was pretty established, I'm fresh out of hair school. You know, people gonna just be like, you did all of that to what? Get pregnant?
But you could still have your aspirations and your goals. And
absolutely, but that was slowed down. That was absolutely slowed down.
My mind was just at giving birth first. So I was probably more scared of labor than even realizing that, like, yeah, labor, but you're going to be a mama. You know what I'm saying? And then one day, I was sitting in my mama's bed, and I was like, you got any advice? And she was like, it's just the most permanent thing that you will ever experience in your life. And I was like, damn, she right. I didn't even think about that, though. I'm just like, oh, I'm a mama, woohoo. And then I went home and was like, dang, she right. But it really doesn't hit you until you have your baby. Personally, that's what I can say for myself. I can't speak for everybody else, though.
I feel like the fears that you have before pregnancy are nothing like the fears you have during pregnancy or after.
I ain't had no fear because I was just like, fuck them kids. Like,
I
ain't think about it. Like,
I had like shit you don't think about before. You just start thinking about when you're pregnant. Like now I'm thinking about everything going on in America. Like, do I need to move out the country?
Yeah.
Your anxiety. Oh my god.
And even then, your anxiety for your children. Like, oh my god, now my kids gotta go through. They gotta experience life.
Yeah.
Life.
They gotta go to these schools that's. You know, schools getting shot up now, and
you got bullies, people bullying themselves to suicide, people picking on people. You got groups and this and that, popular kids, non-popular kids. Like, I really thought about that. Like, oh my god.
Like in labor, I was deeply scared to push the baby out. Like, that would always be in the back of my mind. Like, one day this baby got to come out, and you know, as a Black woman, our chances of dying in labor are higher. And I noticed that. Like, I would start seeing, like, you got to start going to your appointments looking presentable. Because if you go in there looking crazy, they treat you like less.
Not only that,
I would get dressed up.
They treat Black women smaller than the white community or the Caucasian community. Let me say that. I'm sorry. I experienced racism after having my children. Not only that, but I was looked at like I wasn't even a mom because my kids were sent off to the NICU immediately.
Like, definitely with that subject, I feel like in the beginning, because I was going to a different hospital, I was with an OB, and I couldn't bring my boyfriend to the appointments. And so then I would see like Hispanic people there, and I'm like, well, how they got they? And they're like, oh, they need a translator. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, but then the lady in here talking to me crazy. Like, it was some of the stuff that the lady was saying to me that I was like, you know what, this is not the place for me. So mid-pregnancy, I switched to the midwives at Good Sam. I could bring him with me immediately. Different energy. They looking at me differently. Like,
where were you going at first?
Mercy Fairfield, and. They were just, oh, you're at work. I'm glad to see Dad's here. Like, it was just a whole different vibe. I'm like, you surprised?
So when they see you and it seems like you're just a single mom, a young single mom.
Yeah, they be like, even now at doctor's appointments, like, because I do have two children, like, it's not that he ain't never came. Like, I mean, like, but to make it be like, where's Dad today? Dad's at work getting that coin boo.
No, seriously.
But when you're at this hospital and it's primarily white doctors, nurses, everything, it's like they already kind of like,
And they also don't know your body though. So that was my other issue because I had lost 30 pounds before I got pregnant. And so when you lose a lot of weight, you gain it back a lot faster. And I was so sick at first that I was just eating bread because that's all I could take, like noodles. So I was gaining really fast. This lady looked at me in my face and said, if you don't stop eating like that, you will have to have a C-section because it's gonna get so big and you're not gonna be able to push out. And I said, girl, who said that? Like, I'm just like, you know what? This ain't the place for me.
Girl.
They don't be knowing all the time because they kept telling me, like, for one, they only gave me 2 ultrasounds my entire pregnancy, and that's like the normalized thing that I didn't know. I'm like,
that's crazy.
How do you go into labor not knowing how big my baby is or if my baby's up or down? They didn't know anything. They're like, oh, we're just gonna assume that everything's okay. And so when I went into labor, they're thinking that my baby is like six pounds because they're like, oh, you're measuring small.
Oh, yeah,
they kept telling me that,
too.
like, you're measuring small. So here I am freaking out because I'm like, dang, am I doing something wrong? That my baby is small. Yeah, my baby was 8 pounds, 10.6 ounces.
Stop playing.
And they did not believe it. Like, so that's why my labor was so long because they're thinking, like, why she can't push this baby out?
Yeah.
Because my baby was big. And they're thinking as soon as my baby head comes out, they're going to be able to pull it. No, I had to push my baby shoulders out for them to pull her out. So, and I had a 1st-degree tear, but they were literally telling me the whole time, like, oh, it's going to be so easy. Like,
I had the opposite.
Yeah, they're like, you're measuring so small. Like, no, y'all, my baby was big. When they pull my baby out, I'm like, whose baby is that?
Right.
Because
then it came at me.
Yeah.
That big old
I'm
baby.
like, yeah. Not
Ain't
your
no
baby
way,
is
but-
that.
Yes, but and it's crazy because I could feel it.
You know.
I knew she was.
And they didn't even know. And
They did, and they kept telling me, like, that's why they kept telling me, like, oh, she's not ready yet. I said, yes, I am.
You know.
At least you advocated for yourself.
Yes,
Yeah,
and that's what you have to do as a Black woman. You have to advocate for
Yeah, you
yourself.
have to be very adamant.
And your baby. When
You
your
have to
baby
be
comes,
very
you
adamant.
have to advocate because my baby, she was born with vocal cord paralysis at birth. And doctors kept telling me, everything's fine. They'll grow out of it. I had to push just for them to take me serious and get me into ENT. By the time they got me to ENT, which is ear, nose, and throat, it was going to be a month out. So, and I have a newborn baby. She sounds like she can't breathe. It was the scariest thing ever. Soon as I went to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor, he was like, oh, you need to be admitted today. So we had to go spend a whole week in children's and go through a bunch of tests. And my baby, she still has vocal cord paralysis, but she's able to manage. Like most babies with this condition, they have to be trached because their vocal cords don't open and close when they talk. It just stays the same. So that means like they can aspirate food and water can go into their lungs. But luckily my baby's like a miracle. Like she's able to do everything normal. She can eat, she can breathe.
That's so good.
I know, it's such a
It's
blessing.
good.
Yes, but I would have never known had I not advocated because
That's
these
big.
people kept telling me,
Yep.
you're fine, everything's fine. No. If you, as a mother, if you got an instinct, trust your gut because they will tell you something. Like even when I was pushing, they kept telling me to push when I didn't have the urge to push.
Right.
But when I said, no, I'm not going off what y'all say no more. I said, I'm going to push when I feel like I got to push. And that's how I got my baby out.
Yeah. And one thing you'll learn about your body is that you are, like, you was made to do this.
Yeah.
Everything is you gonna know when
You
it's
gonna
time.
feel
Like,
it.
they said that I was
Don't
getting
let
all
them
that
tell
weight,
you.
and I ended up finding out that I had, like, extra excess fluid.
Yeah.
So, unlike her, where it was only 2 ultrasounds, at 30 weeks, I had to go every single week to get an ultrasound. And how you do that at work?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? How you do that and do everything else? Like, thank God that I was in the position that I was in with the person that I was with because some people can't do that. And it was extra fluid, and they kept saying the opposite of her. Oh, this is going to be a big baby.
Yeah.
Then they measured her. She was like 7 pounds. They like, oh, we can see hair. Look at her. She ready to come out today. So I get in the hospital to, have this big old baby. And she come out 7 pounds still, like. And I'm just like, okay. Where this big old baby at? But the fluid was fluiding. So I was like, that makes sense to why I was so big. But, Mercy Fairfield, they was just focused on the fact that I was eating so much, not finding the actual problem. Like I had to do multiple gestational diabetes tests. Like it was a lot.
So how did y'all imagine your 20s going before you got pregnant?
Oh, I thought I was just gonna be young, wild, and free.
Back outside,
Yeah.
boys.
I was just
Like-
gonna be out here with the girls in the drop
Yeah.
top, you know, riding through the city, playing the music, you know, drinking my little drink. You know, I just thought I was doing the damn thing.
all of your bud.
Life my ass real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was finna party and travel and just be single. Because I feel like I was always in relationships. And I had finally got to a point where I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship no more. Like, I've been spending my teenage years, my early 20s, being a wife with no ring.
Okay.
Ooh, not a
This
wife
was
with no ring.
this was my first time, like, being outside. And I was so happy to be free. Like, this is what your 20s should be. I feel like now,
Yeah.
instead of, like, trying to settle down, like, I was in a high school relationship, and out of high school I was in relationships, and I just kept looking for that next relationship. But now that I have my kid, I don't look for that no more. Like, it's crazy because back then I could not go and not have somebody because I was so used to being in these long-term relationships. It's like then I was finally finding myself as a single person, and then boom, I was sucked back into a relationship I had just got out of.
Right, because you wanted the family.
Yeah, so now I'm trying to make this relationship work just because we got a kid on the way now. Even though I had literally just got out of a relationship. Now I'm trying to fix our relationship for the kid, and it's just not working. Like it's not like doing it for your kid is never gonna be enough.
Yeah.
It's not. Even though we had known each other since we was 15, like we was together through high school, then we took a break, then we had just reconnected that year before. It didn't go good, so then boom, I'm going back into the world as a single woman in her 20s. So then it's like, okay, I'm finding myself as a young woman, then boom, that gets cut short. Now I'm finding myself as a young woman that has a kid. So
Big difference.
it is. So it's like, I just thought, yeah, the way I thought my 20s gonna go didn't go that way. Now I'm figuring it out. So
And that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
but I feel like stuff never go how you think it's gonna go.
It
I
never
think it's
But
our
that's life.
imagination.
That's
Yeah,
life.
I think that we
Yeah.
paint our own fairy tale.
Yeah.
We do, because we cannot plan our way throughout life. We can create the life that we want,
Yeah.
like taking different steps and marking off our goals. But life be life, and like
It do.
different things will hit us that we would never ever imagine.
Never see coming.
So, but you never know the reason why this happened to you.
Right.
So a couple years later, maybe you'll be like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's why this happened at that point in time. But you
Yeah.
won't know right now,
That's
and
what
that
I'm
is
saying.
the most stressful part about being in your 20s,
Yeah.
because it's like, why am I going through this right now?
Yeah,
Why did
for
this
real.
happen at this moment?
Or why did it happen to me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You Lord, you could have chose somebody else. You couldn't have found somebody else to do
She
it.
said, get somebody
But
else.
I
am.
am glad that I found that. Glad that I found that new independency.
Yeah.
Cause now it's like I'm not dependent on somebody for love because I have this human being that I love so much. I'd be like, I don't care who's against me. I don't care who not messing with me, who not fucking with me. I got my kid. That's all. This is who I need to make sure straight and loved and happy. But before, I feel like I was trying to make everybody feel loved, everybody feel happy. Like I wanted everybody to. I'm trying to be the best me for you instead of being the best me for myself.
Yeah.
And now that I have a kid, it's like now I'm being the best me for me so I can be the best mom. Because if I'm not the best me, I can't be a good mom. I can't be a good mom if I'm in a toxic relationship. I can't be a good mom if I'm having toxic friendships. So before, I would have held on to those because I'm like, it's just people this, people that. But now I'm like, no.
You got boundaries.
Yes.
I have boundaries.
You have
Right.
boundaries
I'm
now.
finally standing firm on them. And I could not do that before. Because I was such a forgiving person that when you're so forgiving, you're not being kind to yourself. That's what I learned.
I know that's right.
I
With
thought
the word.
I could be like, I thought that was the godly thing to do. Like, Jesus forgave.
No, you can forgive, but you also have to be like, okay, I
Yeah.
forgive you, but you have no more access to me.
Exactly.
That's something that I'm working on too, so you're not the only one.
Yeah,
that
and I couldn't
struggles
do
with
that. I just feel like I need to forgive this person because life is short.
Yeah, you
I always
can
felt
forgive
like
and have
that.
no access.
But now I'm at that point like, okay, I forgive you, but stay over there.
So I love you from a distance.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm like, stay over there so I can do me.
And that's for
be happy.
anybody
Yeah.
in your life. I
Anybody.
don't care
Anybody
who
can
it
go
is.
down.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Hey, I always say,
Anybody.
we can all get booked and busy about me.
Okay,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay?
Because I used to be
If
like,
you don't play about you, everybody else
gonna
will play about you.
Yeah.
And they will play in your face, about your face, around your face, into your face. Okay? So if you don't come for you, everybody else is gonna come for you.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
Now,
one thing I can stand on.
Anybody can get it.
So as y'all started to come into motherhood when you had before you had your baby, you were preparing, the baby was coming. How did you prepare financially?
The whole baby caboodle at the shop, and then my daughters were diagnosed with severe autism spectrum disorder. So I was forced to take a leave from doing hair. And then I kind of lost it a little, like, well, you know, I've been off for 4 months now. My clients ain't gonna come back. They done found somebody else. So I kind of just dwindled the whole little hair situation away. And now I was enrolled into nursing school. Okay. But unfortunately, I had to unenroll because of my high-risk pregnancy this time. They won't clear me for my health. So it's like, damn. I was taking another step forward to do something else, and I just got not knocked down, but
Minor
it just
setback.
it's a pushback, because I'm definitely still gonna go to nursing school, and I'm definitely gonna have that up under my belt. But it just can't happen right this moment when I needed it to.
And your health is your priority, so
Absolutely, but it's like, okay, now I'm stuck in the house with 2 kids. I'm having to be the therapist, the speech pathologist, the goddamn everything. You understand? And that's a lot. I don't think that at home mothers get the
You better say that.
the
respect,
acknowledgement.
None of it.
Let me say that in the speaker. The acknowledgement that they need, because I feel like it is way harder being an at-home mom than it is going out to work a 9 to 5, because whether you understand it or not, you get that break from your children. You going to work is your break. Whether you realize it or not, we as at-home mothers don't get that. We can't pee, we can't poop, we can't shower, we can't brush our teeth. It's days that I'm opening my eye with one eye open and one eye closed to go make milk to take to the back of the house so that I can go lay back down. I'm turning on 5 and 6 Disney Channel shows just to keep them at bay, so that I can be the mom that I need to be and have the rest that I need to have. Because it is extremely hard dealing with children with special needs.
And you have twins,
right?
So that's double trouble.
I did not go back to work until my baby was 9 months. The moment that I was sitting at home, I said, okay, I don't care if it's Chick-fil-A. I got to get out of here. Like, I can't do it. Like, it just took. But then I realized, like, it's temporary. It's okay. However, the respect needs to be paid to the women who sit at home with their kids every single day, because, baby, I love my baby to death, but she can't talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not talking to me. And at a certain point, everybody calling you, what you doing? I want to come see the baby. Like, and I'm like, I don't know. But then the conversations get shorter. They busy. They can't talk on the phone with you like they was doing when you first had the baby. The excitement is over. And that in its own is something to be said, because that was a lot for me. Like, and I didn't experience postpartum. However,
I was just about to get on that topic.
However, though, that was a big, coming to the realization of what my reality was.
Exactly.
But once you accept your reality, because I'm a firm believer in, people say, I want to get back to myself. That person is gone. Have the funeral, baby, because it's over. I'm just saying, it's not the same person that you used to be, and that's okay. That's okay. Like, it's okay to accept that you're a new person. And once I accepted that, it was cool. Once it was time for me to be outside, that's where I was. And I eased my way back into it on my terms. I had the naysayers in the background. My great grandmother, rest her soul, when I first had my baby, the grandma, the godmama, everybody tried to watch her. Nothing worked. She was breastfed. My grandma said, oh, Ayana, why you ain't gonna never get no babysitter. I'm like, Grandma, why would you say that to me? Like, what? Like,
stereotypes.
Yeah, they like, you need to get some formula. I had that can of formula sitting in my house for months. I said, I just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
And now I'm thankful. Like, the relationship that I have with my baby, I can never get back. The time that I spent with her, even now I'm at work like, well, if it's slow, I could just go. Like, matter of fact, I volunteer as tribute. Let me go, because every time that I get with her, like, it's always something new with them. They learn so much. They grow every single day. So I literally thank God that I had that time with her. But enough was enough. Okay, Mama had to get some, adult interaction.
Yes.
You gotta go out. You gotta put your big girl panties on. You gotta go get your hair done. You gotta go get your nails done. Cause I was sitting up in there. My hair ain't never been that long.
Yeah, that was stuff that I actually felt really bad about.
Yeah, you will.
Like, I really had a lot of guilt. Like, and I still don't understand it. Like, I mean, I got my nails done right now, but I swear to God, I have not had my nails done in 2 years. I have not had a pedicure in 2 years.
You better say
When I found out that I was pregnant, I was like, okay, Joy, it's time for you to take some self-control and, get yourself together. Like, because I would be that mom sitting in the house, made sure that my daughters were fly as a button. I mean, doctor's appointments, birthday parties, babies had it all, you understand? But it was the mama that was looking at
It was crazy.
I mean, they was looking at me at appointments like, girl, do you wash your ass? Like, and I'm like, but I got on tights, t-shirt, wrinkled t-shirt.
Yeah, I said we're the
gym
maternity
shoes,
tights. Like,
and
Bookie, find something else to put on.
They was just looking at me like, girl, are you okay?
So do y'all feel like y'all can't, like, y'all shouldn't go and get your hair done? Shouldn't go and keep up with yourself?
It's hard.
It was a guilt thing.
The time. Like, I wish more people would be open to bringing your kids, like, especially they little babies, like, because it's hard for new mothers to get out, because even when we have babysitters, I still be feeling that guilt, like, what if my baby be crying and they don't know what to do? Like, what if my baby only want me? So I'm constantly calling them, and now I'm annoying the babysitter because I keep calling. I'm not even enjoying my
Shout
time.
out to the mamas who drop the kids off and bounce.
And don't
baby,
care.
I'm like, what else do you need? Are you okay?
Yeah,
I be wanting to send a whole care plan with my baby.
I'm
like,
calling 5 times before I leave, and my babies better be back in one piece when I come get them.
But let me say this though: if you have the guilt, you have to build a bridge and get over it. Because what you don't want is to start to resent the person that you're with, because men don't live in the same reality.
No.
And it's okay that they don't, because they were not pregnant.
They don't have to go through that.
They were not, like, the reality for you starts when you get
guys
pregnant.
don't miss the haircut, okay?
Yeah, so they doing this.
They don't miss it.
Let me not say that, because me and my boyfriend was in the house together. We was like, damn, so-and-so pregnant now? Ooh, they gonna see. Like, we was just in there together. He ain't had no haircut, me either. But you don't want to do that. Get outside, figure it out. Like, the grandma gonna be grandma. You know your grandma gonna do too much with your baby, but it's okay. Cause you good. Like, you just have to build those. But it's like baby steps. And I feel like I appreciated myself for giving myself the grace to continue to be like, okay, like, it started off with this and then that, versus trying to be like, oh, I don't care if she crying to that, because I just physically could not take that. I think that's what it is. Like, I mean, my best friend tried, bless her heart, she sent a picture of my baby, she was just, wow. I'm like, okay, we gotta go get her. Like, and I'm like, it's okay, like, she just not ready. She wasn't ready. But as we gradually took the time, like, my baby might go to her grandparents' house and be looking at us like, what y'all doing here? Like, but it took time to get to that. And I think the mom guilt just comes from, like, the uncertainty. Because when you with your baby, you know they good.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna treat your baby how you treat your baby.
Yeah.
But when they with somebody else, you like, well, like,
I gotta worry about
everything.
What's going on in the house? Are they doing something right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, in my family at least, nobody has breastfed and seen it through. So me breastfed, and they think that's so strange and weird. They're like, why you don't just give her no formula?
Yeah.
But it's like,
do it.
when my baby was in that hospital, like, hooked up to all the tubes, I'm like, I need to give my baby the best chance she gonna have, and that's breast milk. Like, your body's gonna build immunity to stuff just from you breastfeeding her. Like, this is what we're here to do. So I I didn't plan on breastfeeding at all. Like, my coworkers was telling me, like, the older women, breastfeed, like, that's the best thing. And I'm looking at them like, no, I done heard too many bad things about it. But it's such a beautiful thing. Like, nobody speaks on that. Like, breastfeeding is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And either way, it's hard. If you formula feed, it's hard.
Right.
If you breastfeed, it's hard.
It's just gonna be one thing if it's not another.
It's whatever you're gonna do.
My daughters actually ended up getting NEC. It's called nicotinitis. And it comes from being formula fed. Mm-hmm. So when they were in the NICU, I breastfed. I pumped. Well, I didn't breastfeed because they were too little to latch.
Yeah.
But I pumped, and I pumped for the first 4 months of their life.
That's good.
So good.
With them being in the NICU, my body just stopped producing milk.
Yeah,
like I didn't
the
have
latch
that,
is what creates the milk to keep going.
Yep.
So
I didn't have that intimate connection with my children because they weren't at home with me. So my body did not know to keep making milk. Mm-hmm. And it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit because I felt discouraged because that was something that I really, 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 really wanted to do. Mm-hmm. That and the fact that my uterus would contract every time I would pump. So it was terrible. I was like, oh my God, I don't know how much longer I could take this.
Yeah,
I had bleeding nipples, cracked nipples.
Oh my God.
First,
the beginning is like
terrible.
I'm in pain everywhere.
Yeah. I was like, just cut the boob off and give it to her.
No, seriously, yeah. The beginning, that first day postpartum, I was laying in that bed like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, where the nurse at? Like, I'm like this. I mean, they give you all these medicines and everything, but I mean, you in pain from head to toe. Like, I can't really, and I just knew, like, my mom, I only ever seen her breastfeed. I don't know how to make a bottle. I don't know the ratio from formula to water. I wasn't trying to think about it. I ain't have nothing ready for it. Like, my baby actually never took a bottle. So you want to talk about different struggles. That was a struggle in its own because I damn sure can't trust you and I know my baby can't even eat. Yeah. What can I do? So I'm knowing I got a time limit on whatever I'm doing right now because in the next 2 to 4 hours, she gonna have to eat.
Yes.
So that was a whole nother thing in its own. Like,
so I want to touch on postpartum depression. Ayana, you kind of touched on it already, but I want to know, did any of y'all experience postpartum depression or are you experiencing it? And if so, talk to me a little bit about that.
I was telling the girls right before we had started, I think that my emotional disconnect with my children came with them being taken and being put in the NICU. My daughters were in the NICU for 11 weeks and 9 weeks. So even once I had a baby home, it still was like I'm having to run up to the hospital to make sure that my other child is good. And I did not have the best NICU experience. I literally watched the NICU nurse manhandle my 1 pound child. Like, my daughter came out, she was 788 grams, which equals out to be 1 pound and 0.1 ounce, literally. So I was terrified, number one, that I was gonna get that call from the NICU, like, your baby didn't make it, because while I was in the NICU, there was a series of parents, who children, weren't able to survive the NICU experience. Mm-hmm. And thank God that my daughters were able to see their NICU stay through. But them being taken from me and me having to go home without 2 babies, and I had mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared myself for 2 babies to come home. I think that was a really big damper in my personality. I really felt like I was put in a box and shipped away. My mind was not there. I would literally be at the hospital from sun up to sundown. It was like I was on a schedule to see my children, and I felt like that was the worst for me. I wasn't able to stay the night at the NICU at no point in time. I wasn't able to really receive a lot of information over the phone. I got 1 call a day that was in the morning to let me know their weight pickup and how they did overnight. So if I was not able to make it up to the hospital, and I had a C-section, so I physically was not able to walk for 3 weeks. So my boyfriend would literally be picking me up, putting me in a wheelchair, taking me to Children's, and wheeling me up to the NICU every day. I literally would be out my body just to be there for my children, and it caused a huge emotional disconnect between me and my kids. A huge emotional disconnect because it was just like, I mean, you're here, but you're not here.
Right.
I have to go back home and live a normal life with no children, and then wake up tomorrow and come back and see you on a visiting schedule. So that really mentally messed me up, and I didn't have a whole bunch of people to turn to because nobody in my family had NICU babies. Nobody. Everybody who has had a baby in my family, their child went home with them after their hospital stay. Their child was with them during their hospital stay. And the hospital stay, I stayed at the hospital for 7 days after I had my daughters because I had complications, after having them. And fortunately, I was able to go to the NICU at any time while I was inside the hospital as a patient. But once I was no longer a patient, I had to follow a strict visiting schedule. Only me and their dad was allowed to see them, nobody else. We weren't allowed to take a whole bunch of videos due to the fact that there were other children with way more complicated issues than what my daughters were experiencing, which was pretty complicated, but way more complicated. And they didn't want other children being captured, parents being captured crying. So we were only allowed to take a whole bunch of videos. I mean, we weren't allowed to take a whole bunch of videos, but we were able to take a whole bunch of pictures and stuff. But I think also seeing my children that small with that many tubes and as messed up, as messed up as they were my kids. But at the same time, it's like, wow.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, I still have to go home and be without you.
Because postpartum depression is a drop in your hormones. So you pregnant and you here. Now your body got to come back down to reality. And you done have all of these hormones building up for all these months and you're this and that. And so when we talk about postpartum depression, people have to be clear because it's not just you just in a mental headspace like, I can't go out anymore, woe is me. Like, no, we got people that's going through real stuff. Not even just that though, the fact that we were saying as a Black woman, there's a lot of other things that we have to go through that other people don't. Being, like she said, when we were first starting, a lot of Black women end up having a C-section, me being one. And my mom is a certified doula. She's been in the game for a long time. My best friend, like she said, delivered her baby. I had no intention on having a C-section. I thought I was going to go in here and go natural. The C-section thing threw me off. But what they don't tell you is you have a C-section. Now you're already at a higher risk of having postpartum depression. You got a little bit of anxiety. You already at a higher risk of going there. So you are literally having to pick yourself up, learn how to be a mama, because you really don't know what you're doing until you start doing it. And then still be in the mental headspace to try to be everything else. Because it's not why you healing. So you a mama, you a daughter, you a niece, you a granddaughter, you all of these things at once, and it's you just expected to do it right because our ancestors, they was just so strong. And girl, I was doing this and I had 3 kids. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, I don't care. Like, to be honest, like, and like I said, I could not say I did not have postpartum depression. I had a wonderful pregnancy. However, for those people that do, it's serious. And people don't take enough.
Minimize it. Like,
yeah,
oh,
they
it's just
do.
in your head.
They do.
It's just
They do.
emotions. No, like I was physically going through it.
Yes.
Crying myself to sleep, throwing up. Like, it did not stop.
And being away from your children.
Yes,
like, I just can't even imagine.
Listen,
like,
that was like, I felt like literally somebody ripped my heart out my chest and took it.
And I think the biggest thing too is people gotta understand that it's okay. You know, everything is not just la la land. Yeah, and that's what we was talking about before we started. I'm like, I think people have a common misconception that, oh my God, let me have this baby shower. I'm gonna do this. I want to do no. And then you're gonna go home to a crying ass baby. Like, yes.
I'm a mama. No, bitch, I'm a mother.
No, for real. No, for real. No, seriously. Like, seriously, it's a whole. Like I said to them, that first night, I'm like, damn, this my baby. Like, they ain't coming back.
Ain't no more nursery.
No, it's not.
I was sending my baby to the nursery.
I was scared. My boyfriend like, "Dang, we ain't gonna get no more sleep. Let her go." I'm
I
like,
was sending my
okay.
baby because I knew when I got home it was gonna get
Right,
Exactly.
that's what they said, to send your baby to the nursery so that you can get time to rest, because after
Yeah,
that,
because when you
not
get home,
baby.
it's
I
no
watch too
breaks.
many Lifetime shows, and I think that's where my biggest.
I was scared.
Girl, I sent my baby.
Let me
Yes.
tell you, I think they swapped one of my kids out.
Girl. No, for real though, because they can. She's just so pretty.
I
Oh, we
said-
have to come see this baby. I'm like, not too much on my baby.
Listen, I
I'm
tried
sitting
that. I
there.
said, take her.
No.
Bria, so did you experience postpartum depression, Bria, or?
So I don't know if I can say I had depression because I feel like during my pregnancy I was depressed.
Okay.
Nobody talks about you being depressed
During your pregnancy,
Mhm.
yes.
Like not everybody is happy, and that's something I felt guilty about because I'm like, bro, this is a blessing. Like everybody else be happy they're pregnant. I'm still not happy. Like I didn't tell my family, my friends till I was like halfway through my second trimester. I don't feel like I had postpartum because I had to worry about my baby being healthy. Like
Right.
my baby was born with vocal cord paralysis. That affects 0.75% of every 1 million babies born. So this is so rare. Doctors don't really know about it. Now, thankfully, Cincinnati is one of the places where doctors know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like people travel all over the world to come to Cincinnati Children's to see about their baby's vocal cord paralysis. Now, I joined a group in Facebook, and it's like a mommy group. It has like 100,000 members. The group for vocal cord paralysis parents, it's like 1,000 people. And it's all over the world. 1,000 people are in this group. So I'm researching it, like, mind you, I'm thinking my baby just got laryngomalacia, which is like something a lot of more babies have where their vocal cords are just flappy. So that's why they make a stridor sound. Like, and it's hard to explain the sound, but it just sounds like your baby can't breathe, but it's stridor. So that's what me and other doctors are saying. That's why they're like, oh, she'll grow out of it. So I'm thinking she has that. So then, boom, I keep not sleeping at night because I'm like, I don't want my baby to stop breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, they didn't get me in until December 10th. My baby was born November 13th. So I'm having to wait a whole month to see what's wrong with my baby. So I couldn't sleep. So I keep calling the doctor. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't keep going. Like, I'm not sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do anything because I don't know if my baby can breathe. And at the time, they're like, Bria, you need to sleep when she sleeps. You need to sleep. No, I can't sleep when she sleeps because I'm worried about if she freaking breathing. I'm worried about SIDS. Nobody talks about that. Like, you're worried about if your baby's just gonna die for no reason. Like, and that affects a lot of babies. So I'm just worried about so much stuff. So then when I finally do go to the doctor and they put a scope, they go through her nose, down her throat. Soon as he did that, like, cause he's even telling me, like, yeah, I think she has laryngomalacia. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, soon as he put that thing down her throat, his whole face changed. Like,
That's so scary.
It was the scariest thing. Like, his whole demeanor changed, and I just knew something was seriously wrong because his whole face just went from happy smiling to, oh, something is going on here. And then he told me what was going on, and I just could not stop crying because it was hard being that person with the baby. Something's wrong with their baby.
Oh, I know. Oh, I can
Listen,
vouch for that.
because when you come from a family, listen, my cousins be fucking. My grandma got 30 great-grandchildren. So I come from a family of everybody having babies like it's nothing. Nothing wrong with their babies, but oh, something's wrong with Brielle's baby. What did she do wrong? Like, what did she do? Like, everybody's looking at you crazy. Like, what's wrong with your baby? Like, you know, and it's hard because you feel so isolated. Because, like, my cousins just fucking, they having normal kids. They don't even want their kids. They smoking, they drinking during their pregnancy. Nothing is wrong with them. Here I am taking prenatals, doing everything right, going to every single doctor appointment, and something is still wrong with my child.
Yep, that's how I felt.
That
My
was-
daughters were diagnosed with a severe autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah, that's so hard because you're like, dang, what did I do that these people are not doing? Like, what did I do wrong when I was pregnant?
You know what? It just is that you was meant to be your baby's
Yeah,
mom. That's
so
all it is.
it really
yeah,
was
but it's
meant
still
to
it's still like
it's hard.
It's
It's
like
like
something you gotta grasp. Like
Yeah.
because when my daughters were diagnosed with a severe autism spectrum disorder, one was diagnosed with severe, and one was diagnosed with just autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
And the one that was diagnosed with severe, originally they told me my baby's gonna never talk.
Yeah.
Like as a mom, like to not actually physically be able to communicate with your child, to not actually know what you're saying, to not actually like really like have an understanding of your child. Like that's something big. I cried for nights. I told my boyfriend, I said, this is something that's really like really bothering me because
hard.
I mean like what am I supposed to do? Like one of our daughters is gonna be able to go to regular school, and one of my daughters is gonna have to go to like a special needs school. What if she's picked on? What if people talk about my baby? Like that really messed with me and messed with my mental because it's like, as a mom, I didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Like my daughters were born at 29 weeks. I was 29 weeks pregnant. I wasn't even 30 weeks. I was 29 weeks pregnant when my daughters were taken out of my belly.
Yeah.
They were not developed at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like one was 1 pound 1 ounce, one was 1 pound 7 ounces. At my 22-week scan, they told me my daughters were 3 pounds. They showed TTPS, which is twin to twin transfusion syndrome, where in the umbilical cord, your child has a minimum amount of blood flow, and then the other child is getting all the blood flow. So one child is taking from the other child. Ryla, which is the one that was actually diagnosed with severe autism spectrum disorder, she actually was the one that was helping her sister. She was the bigger baby and turned around and donated her blood, her supply to her sister because her sister was dying off.
Yeah. And I think that's something you don't think about as a mom. Like every fear that I had, nothing could have prepared me for something being wrong with my baby after she was born.
Yes.
I never thought about that. And it's crazy because so many moms have special needs children. So it was hard for me to really, I didn't even think about myself. Like I was constantly thinking like, is she okay? Is she breathing? I never thought about myself. I never thought about my body. Like, you know, a lot of women suffer with like their bodies. I never even, it was days I ain't looking in the mirror.
Right.
It was days I ain't looking in the mirror. It was days I ain't even go shower because I'm just being a mom. Like I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, so by the time I finally looked at my body, I'm like, I don't even give a fuck.
No, for
I
real.
don't care how I look. I care that my child's healthy though. But I thought I would be so concerned with my snap back.
But you wasn't.
I was not. Like, I did not care.
Yeah, I snapped in and snapped right back out.
I did not
snap
care.
right back in.
So, it's like, all I care about is my child being healthy. And I think most moms don't know. Like, you're not even going to be thinking about yourself for a while.
Right.
It was like I couldn't bring myself to actually care for myself because I was having to care for 2 beings at the same time.
That's a lot.
And it was just like, I don't want to make it seem like I didn't have help. My boyfriend was there every step of the way.
Right.
It would be times where they would cry in the middle of the night, and he would literally take them out of the room that we were sleeping in and take them to the living room and go back to sleep with them to make sure, you know, that I did have a little bit of rest.
Right.
And I do appreciate that because that meant a lot because I was still trying to figure it out for me. I'm still trying to figure it out for me. I mean, like, I think that's something that we don't quite really grasp until the baby's like 5. Is you still got to figure things out. Like, you have to figure out what works best for you.
Right.
Not the advice that you've been given, but what is working best for you. Like, now, my daughters get up at 5 o'clock every morning. I know when they get up, boom, juice or bottle, cereal in the cup. Back in the room.
You got a schedule.
No. They ain't got no schedule.
No. She said, I'm going to get them where they need to be.
They ain't got no. But that's what I'm saying.
And I just want to say, I feel like postpartum depression is something that can hit at any time.
Yes.
So I feel like as a mother, I'm still waiting for that time to hit because I've been so focused on her. I'm just now getting back to work. Like, I went back to work when she was 3 months. So I was with her every single day, and we was in and out of children's. Like, we done did 2 sleep studies. My daughter has had basically where she gets put under anesthesia, and they put like cameras down her throat just to see what's wrong, and nothing was wrong, thank God. But still, just the fact that I even went through all that, I still don't feel like I processed that. Like, I went through a traumatic newborn phase. I didn't get the phase where you just come home like, oh my God, like I got a baby. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
But I sleep all through the day.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
I did
We
not
was
experience
literally
that.
in the hospital extra couple of days just for them to make sure she was fine. Just for them to send us home not knowing my baby has something that is so rare. Like, she could have died or something. Like, she could have been born with her vocal cords closed like this, and she had been incubated. But luckily, she wasn't. Like, she was literally born, and her vocal cords were just stuck like this. So when I'm talking to you, my vocal cords are moving in and out. Hers don't. So it's just like, I had to worry about that. I haven't really worried about myself.
So how has y'all friendships or relationship with the father of your child, how has that changed in any type of way, if it has?
I feel like friendships, I really don't have that many friends. Let's just start by saying that. And I used to have a lot of friends. But I think really, I mean, you gotta have grace with people, because at the end of the day, your reality is not their reality, and you can't be mad at them for that not being the case. And when they go through that, they gonna understand.
When they go through motherhood?
Yes.
It will be a false narrative to put out, like, you know, people have these perfect relationships, because I'll be the first one to tell you I have been through hell and back.
Yeah.
I have rolled and died. I rolled and the wheels fell off, and I done called the comedy and said the wheels back down. I have rolled and died. Like, I got 9 lives with that man.
First of all, nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
And in a relationship, the only way you're gonna stay together if you want to be together. So if somebody don't want to be with you, they gonna do whatever they want to do. First. Secondly, as far as friendships, it's seasons. Everybody is not meant to go forever and ever. Like, that's just what it is. Everybody can't stay on the wheel with you. And it was some relationships that, I mean, I had my baby, I ain't hear from these people.
That's
And
what I was
then-
gonna ask when you become a mom. Like, are those friends still there?
But
Not all the time.
But it's not the people that you would expect. Because I got friends who didn't have no kids that's like, all right, well, I just want to come over to see you, da da da. I had people who I was close with. I'm talking about talking on the phone every single day. I didn't hear from them. And they got kids. I didn't hear nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's applesauce to a boss. I was like, well, fuck them. I mean, we ain't cool no more then. Because, I mean, if you don't call, if you a mom and you can't even say, hey, how are you? We don't have a relationship. Yeah, you don't care. It's not really but that is just how I looked at it, and I had to move on. I can't dwell on that kind of stuff, and I feel like nobody should. Like I said, everybody is for a season, for a reason. Like, and you don't want to hold on to baggage. I'm big on that. I can't be on the phone with people and talking to people who is always something. You can't look at the good as nothing and like, I got enough going on. I can't deal. Pregnant, having a baby,
cut somebody out for that, because every time they called me, they was in some more drama. Right?
I can't let that drain me.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Right. Put me in the middle of that shit. I'm like, girl, and as a mother at that, why do you want to be in drama? That's why I really had to take a step back, because like, you a mother and you still messy as fuck. I can't do it. I can't. Like, I'm going through enough with my pregnancy, with my baby daddy, and you dragging me into other drama with your other friends, and I just couldn't do it. I had to cut a friend off for that.
And I lost the relationship with people in my family who was supposed to be like, you know, the closest thing that you could think of a relationship. Yeah. And it was solely off of me saying, you can't do this to me no more. And it's not, it's more so because I have a child now, though, because I cannot allow these things to go on in my baby's life. And you have to make that, whether it's with your baby's father, whether it's with your mama, your uncle, your best friend, whoever. You cannot allow people to do whatever the hell they want to do, because when they come to your child, all they got is you to protect them. When you have this baby, they are helpless.
I feel like with friendships, when I got pregnant, I was not, like, me and my best friend, we was not on good terms. But when I got pregnant, I'm like, can we just get back on good terms? I'm like, I need you right now. Yes. And I told my friends, I said, I need us to get along and not fall out for these next.
That's big to say that in open.
Yeah, because I told them, I'm like, I know, like, we're at odds, but can we just, like, my life is finna change. Like, I need y'all. It took for me to get pregnant for me to finally stand firm and see, like, these people don't fuck with you for real. And then it's like, with me and her dad, mind you, this is the person that took my virginity. We was in a relationship from when I was 15 to 18. We got back together after I graduated. Then we broke up again, and we ain't talked for like 3 years. And then finally we came back to each other live. We tried again, and it didn't work out. But boom, the minute you feel like you single, you away, you pregnant. Bloop. So, and I feel like when I was pregnant, that's the worst relationship we ever had. And it really, I always heard, like, you don't know somebody till you pregnant by them. But I never thought about it. Like, I thought this man loved me. Like, you know, he took my virginity. He been wanting to get me pregnant. I just thought he was going to be, I had these high expectations for him. And it just didn't hit. Like, I feel like he was still holding on to stuff from the past to even focus on the future. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to work out. So I'm still trying and I'm trying. I'm halfway through my pregnancy. We still ain't got it together. So I feel like at my 20-week appointment, I didn't even care how our relationship was no more.
You started coming to the realization, this is what it's going
to
be.
I came to the realization that my child is the most important thing. But before that, I thought this relationship is the most important because I was so set in stone in having this family that I didn't have. But I was going to bring my child to this world with something so toxic.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even thinking about that. I'm like, well, she needs a dad. But I never thought, like, yeah, I didn't always have my dad. But I didn't have to see my mama in no toxic relationship.
Right.
And that's something I don't want my child to ever see that. Like, I never want her to see that. Yeah. So I really had to just, you know, think about it like, damn, you're the number one person I want to be here. But I can't allow you because you're so toxic. You can't let it go for our child. So now we get into navigating co-parenting, and it's a war. Like, it's like a war because I don't want to be with you, but I want a healthy family. And for him, it's like, I want to be with you, and we just need to try. Like, we just need to push. Like, that's the mindset he has. Like, we just need to do it. And I'm like, no, like, it ain't work. I'm not trying to try. I'm trying to master being a mom. I'm not trying to master being a mom and healing my relationship.
He haven't realized he got to
That's too much fucking work. Trying to heal your relationship and be a mom, it's too hard.
Yeah.
You gonna have to pick one.
You gotta pick a struggle.
And if you don't pick your child, your child's gonna grow up traumatized because you didn't pick your child.
Yeah, and you still have to focus on you too.
Exactly.
At some point, you have to focus on you and heal things within yourself, so that you don't pour that into your child.
And men don't get that. They never go through that emotional that we go through.
Right.
They're the same. Our bodies have changed, our mind has changed, our brain has changed. They don't get that. They just think, oh, you had a baby.
But also society does not take the steps to prepare them for that like they do on us.
And
you born and it's like, here, play with your baby, you a good mama. Get this truck. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things.
Don't realize
that
things. You're a whole different person than when you had that baby versus before.
I want to touch on that. So as we wrap up, I want to end off on the beauty of motherhood. So what's one way you feel like you've changed or you've grown now as a person that you've become a mom?
I feel like I have never loved something and been committed to something so much. Like, I have never had that stable love. Like, I've never had somebody love me forever and it's just gonna stick. I've always had some people love me, but it's under certain conditions. Or they love me today, they don't love me tomorrow. Yeah. Right. But I have a baby now, like, she's gonna love me no matter what. And that really keeps you going as a mom. Like, it's the most strongest love you will ever feel. Like, and I feel like that's why I don't care about outside relationships now. As long as I'm a good mother to my child, like, I feel wonderful. Like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. Like, I wake up in the morning next to her every day, and she wake up smiling. Like, I have such a happy baby. She's so fucking happy, and it just warms my heart. But it's beautiful. Like, you will never love anything stronger. Like, I don't care how much you think you love your man, baby. When you have your child, it just doesn't compare. I mean, for me at least, like, I love my baby. It's nothing I wouldn't do for my baby. I want to be the best me I can be because of my baby. Like, before, I would have been okay being cool. But now it's like, I want to be the best me that I ever can be because now I got this baby that's, you know, dependent on me. I don't have no choice but to go hard. My hardest, like, that's it. But it's just a beautiful thing. Like, it's a love I never felt. Like, from my parents, from any friendship, relationship that ever gave me, like, the love I have for my baby is just greater than anything.
I just want to say, and I was thinking about this when we was talking, because I'm like, damn, they gonna be listening. Like, let me not have no baby, because no. Listen, being a mom is the best thing that I could have ever did. Like, I love everything about it. Like, I love just seeing my body go from, I got a flat stomach. Now I'm out here seeing myself just producing milk. Oh my God, I'm a cow. Crazy. Like, this is crazy. Like, it's just every little thing about it. And like I said, I thank God that I had the opportunity to feel and like being blessed through all these moments, because being a mom was like becoming a woman for me. Like, everything about it was just like, I love it. And though it is hard and it is trying, every day you wake up and it's just a new blessing. So,
and you have a purpose. That's something I didn't have. Like, I was always a go-getter, and I was doing stuff successfully. Like, everything I wanted to do, I was doing. But at the end of the day, I still felt like I had no purpose in this. But now it's like, when I do stuff, it's like I have a purpose now, because I'm fending for my child. Like, I'm providing for my kids. So I have a reason to do the stuff that I'm doing versus me just going with the flow, doing anything. But it's like,
just living just to live.
And I don't have time to waste.
Right.
I'm not fucking around.
Right.
I'm not gonna just fuck with you just because. Like, I'm real serious. Like, I'm really about my shit now. Yeah. But before, anybody could walk over me, and I'm like, okay, it's cool. Right. But now it's like, don't play with me. I got a kid at home. Like, don't play with me. And I love that.
Yes,
like, I love it. Like,
I never felt more beautiful either.
My experience on motherhood, it is the most beautiful, selfless self thing that you can do.
Yes.
Like I said, I have been out my body for my kids. Like, and I'll do it again because I am doing it again. And I mean, I was just so, I literally, when I got the results back from my blood test, I literally jumped like a little kid on trampoline. I literally jumped up and down on the bed and was like, we having a boy! Like, I was ecstatic, like, because now I never really had that connection with my mom. So I always knew, like, going in, I don't care, girl, boy, like, I'm always going to have my kids back. I'm always going to make sure that I'm that person that sticks my neck out for my child. Yeah. Like, I'm always going to be that. Listen, I always felt like, I could never go to my mom about certain shit. Like, no, like, my daughters, I know, like, you can come to me about anything. I won't judge you. I'm going to give you the best advice. Like, we're going to be the best of friends, but you going to know, like, my mama will fuck the world up about me, but she also fucked me up about me. Like, and that's what I stand on. Like, I love being a mother. I love waking up in the morning, or them waking me up in the morning, seeing that smile on their face, them pushing that cup at me, them asking for chips at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they get it. I just love it. Like, I love it, and I cannot wait to experience the love of a son.
Yeah. So lastly, what's one piece of advice that you can give moms in their 20s, or people who want to become a mom and they're in their 20s as well?
Don't be afraid. Yeah. You got this. That is the best advice that I can give. Don't listen to everybody else. Fuck what a motherfucker gotta say. And that's just the truth. Like, seriously. There is no book to this shit. I promise you.
I would say, if you out here just dating, no intentions, you just fucking, you having raw sex, you should really think about that. Like, anybody you have sex with unprotected can be your baby.
You better say it.
Even if these guys say they shoot blanks.
Girl, don't believe that shit. They tell you they not,
they said they
there's a motherfucking lie. Like, really know who you having sex with. Even look into their family. When you having a baby with somebody, when you having a baby with somebody, you gotta think like, do I want to integrate with this family forever?
Right. Do they stand on what I stand on?
Exactly. You have to think about a lot. Even if you just having fun, anybody you laying down with, it's a chance that you could be having a baby. You gotta even look at their health. Yeah. Because look, my baby daddy, he had his tonsils and adenoids removed when he was 1. Now my baby going through similar stuff. Like, it's shit you gotta think deeper when you just out here dating with no intention, like no purpose. You really got to think about that.
And having
like,
sex, too.
Exactly, because that shit could change like this. And if that moment you decide you're having that baby, whether you like it or not, you're locked in for life.
Yeah, all it's gonna take is
Yeah.
that positive pregnancy test.
Exactly. So, I feel like be mindful who you have sex with. Really think about, is this the person I want to start a family with? Is their family going to integrate with my family? Do we have the same beliefs, the values? Do we stand on the same things? Like, you got to really think about that shit. And I feel like when you do it, you go hard. Because, baby, your world's going to get rocked.
And don't just be out here doing anything.
Yeah, prepare.
Yeah, don't play with them kids.
Get ready for it. That's what I say. And I mean, it's really, you can't get ready, but when it's coming, it's gonna come. The thing I would say is, one thing I really like is Facebook groups. I love the Facebook mom groups. If you feel like you don't got support from your family, or you want to parent differently than your parents parent, find you a Facebook group. It's plenty breastfeeding groups. It's plenty single mom groups. Like, every group you can think of is on Facebook. So I definitely feel like that helped me a lot. It's a first time mommy group. I recommend everybody join, because you can ask whatever you want, and hundreds of people gonna comment.
And Brielle and Ayana, I know Joy touched on one. It was like a generational curse that you're trying to break with your children. It's like you weren't close to your mom, so you want your kids to feel like they can come to you. What's one generational curse that y'all feel like y'all want to break?
Unfortunately, mine would be the same.
The same.
So yeah, my relationship with my mom, like, it's just always been up and down. I do not want to be up and down with my daughter. Like, I want a relationship with her forever. I don't want it to be, I'm not talking to my mama. Like, I don't know how I would feel with that. But I also would not put her in the position to feel like that.
Yep.
So that's the biggest thing for me, just making sure I do not do
if you
those
be the
same
safety net for
things.
your child will not ever go anywhere
And that's
else.
a fact.
Like,
That's a fact. And when you said that, because you don't let your kids thinking. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, just don't.
set that tone.
Yeah.
Like, make sure that, like, I don't care what it takes. Like, it be the simplest stuff. Like, it really be the simplest stuff that will really make your child be like, okay, yeah, I can't go to my mama about this, or I'm scared, or no, you don't know. You have no worry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna beat your ass. I'm not gonna tell your business to the family. I'm not gonna run down to my friends on the phone about anything you come and tell me out of confidentiality. Like, I want my daughters to know. Like, I think they do know. They my daughters, they know. They come and telling each other to me. Like, they know.
Yeah. And I feel like a generational curse that I feel like a lot of Black women don't break is healing themselves, or at least trying to, for their kids. Like, I feel like me and my mom, and the way that she parents is like very emotionally closed. Like, I couldn't come and cry on her shoulder. I can't hug my mom. Like,
I can count on my hands how many times my mom has actually told me, and it's not a bad thing. I know that my mom loves me.
But they don't
Let me say that.
Yeah.
But the Black womanhood community has this strong-minded agenda. Like, I have to I gotta show this side of me. I can't be emotionally vulnerable when it comes to my daughter, but I can show my son this emotional side to me.
That's a whole nother thing.
Or, I can come from my son this way, but my daughter have to be so strict, and I have to stand on this and stand on it, and it is what it is, and I said what I said. I mean, you said what you said, but it don't really mean much.
Right. I want her first instinct to be, let me go talk to my mom.
I gotta go tell my mom.
My mom got my back. And it's like, growing up, I had to learn a lot by myself. Like, even though my mom was there every day, it's like she wasn't teaching me how to do this or do that. Or I was on YouTube or some shit
the
like
things
that.
come with being a
So it's like, when I was coming into womanhood, that's where me and my mama started disconnected. Like, once I started going into puberty and stuff, it was like, okay, you didn't ever even have a sex talk with me.
Smelling yourself.
So when I was out there having sex, it's like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I mean, we got health classes, but they don't really tell you shit. So the whole time I'm having sex with my current baby daddy, he's nutting to me the whole time, and I had no idea. I'm sitting here thinking I'm doing something wrong, and I finally asked him one day, like, why you not nutting to me? Like, what am I doing? What am I not doing? Like, why you don't nut? He was like, oh, I do. It just be inside you.
That's crazy.
And I didn't know nothing about that, and I'm so naive sometimes.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just got pregnant.
Baby.
That's why I said, like, timing is crazy, because we really went through that phase where we was having 100% sex and not pulling out. And I just thought he wasn't coming. I don't know why I thought that, but I couldn't talk to my mom. My mom never had the birds and the bees. It was like, once I became puberty, we just didn't even communicate.
But some of that stuff is on dance too.
That's true. And I think that's so good and important that y'all realize that and that y'all want to instill that in y'all kids. Child, listen, from listening to y'all,
We done made it seem hard.
No, y'all didn't, but y'all talked about the reality of it, because when you're in your 20s and you become a mom, there's also a negative stigma that comes with, like, in your early 20s, I'll say, like, oh, you're pregnant, you're having a kid in your early 20s, like, you don't even know yourself yet, you don't even have your things together yet, but I'm really proud of y'all and happy for y'all, because it seems like y'all really get into it and y'all are trying to grow and learn and get the guidance that y'all need to be a great mom, but also growing as a person. So I really appreciate y'all coming and talking about all these things. I hope everybody who's listening can take something away from it, because y'all dropped a lot of gems and we're really open about y'all experiences that other people are experiencing but don't want to talk about it. So I love that. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
All right.
That was really good.